This is the Phillies POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Phillies postcast here on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. It's great to have you along for the ride. Connor Thomas has you covered each and every day for your Locked On Phillies daily podcast needs. Oh my goodness gracious! For a game that was supposed to have a couple of Cy Young candidates, right? For a game that was supposed to have these guys going out there and absolutely dealing 7-5 and the 5 home runs hitting this game. Didn't expect that, but yet here we are, and certainly didn't expect Zack Wheeler, despite the fact that he hasn't been Zack Wheeler for his last couple of starts. Did not expect for him to give up 3 of those home runs, running into trouble in that third inning as the Phillies take a 7-5 loss, and they allow the Tigers to even up this series at a game apiece before Christopher Sanchez takes the ball tomorrow night for the Phils. All in all, this did not feel comfortable, really, from the jump, and I wanted it to, but that third inning kind of brought you back down to reality. Now, unfortunately, first inning here with Zack Wheeler gives up the leadoff single. Then he gets 3 straight strikeouts to retire the side after that. That made you feel like, okay, maybe he's going to be locked in. Phillies then, unfortunately, aside from getting a hit of their own by Bryce Harper in the bottom of the first inning, they also struck out 3 times. And Skubal just looked like he was Skubal. And I went back to last year's start that he had against the Phillies, and it was right before he really took off last year. I mean, he was great throughout the year, don't get me wrong, but like flat-out dominance. And it was I remember he did well against the Phillies last year, but what did he do? Yeah, 7 scoreless, 3 hits is what he did against the Phillies. Well, he picked up right from where he left off, struck out got the 3 strikeouts there in the first inning. Second inning comes out, what do you know, strikes out the side again. Third inning comes out there. Oh, he didn't record a strikeout in that inning. So, all right, Phillies is starting to break the trend a little bit. That was a good sign. But throughout the game, he just looked like he was completely dialed in and not making mistakes until he was at 75 pitches in the 7th inning, and we'll get to that. But Zack Wheeler, to start things off there in the third inning, got Keith there on a fastball. Then Carpenter got his home run on a fastball up in the zone. And that ball looked like it was lofted out to right center field, and it just kept carrying for the second home run in that inning, another solo shot. And all in all, Zack Wheeler, of the 2 pitchers today, was the guy that finished in a distant second. And I know Skubal ended up giving up the 3 runs there in the 8th inning, in the 7th inning. But throughout this game, he was just flat out dominant. And the number one thing you could go to today, as we're going to talk about the player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Difference in this one is Skubal only gave up 5 hits. Wheeler gave up 9 hits over 6 innings of work. 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts in this one. Skubal, by the way, also gave up 10 also had 10 strikeouts in this one. He finished as Wheeler finished with 98 pitches on today's ball game. Skubal, 98 pitches on today's ball game. Skubal, 10 strikeouts. Wheeler, 10 strikeouts. But again, the big difference in this one, neither pitcher walked the guy, by the way, but the big difference in this one is that Wheeler certainly allowed a lot of ducks on the pond with those 9 hits compared to Skubal's 7. Wheeler also lasted an inning fewer than Tarik Skubal, unfortunately, for the Phillies in this one. Or maybe fortunately, I don't know. But the minute he was out of the game, you saw Tanner Banks come in. He gave up another solo home run, unfortunately. So, yeah, 6 home runs surrendered today. 4 of them surrendered by Phillies pitching. Strom also was charged for 2 runs, gave up 2 runs as well. Not a good sign for him, unfortunately. And then Romano got 1 out to get out of that inning that Strom couldn't. And then Max Lazar, good for him, after a really rough outing in Chicago. He was able to just give up, pitch a perfect 8th inning there, or top of the 9th inning, so that was good to see for him. Then all in all, if you had to name the guy that was the man today, I think you would have to, unfortunately, for the Phillies, look on the other side of the baseball, look on the other side of the diamond, and look at the shortstop for Javier Baez and what he was able to do for the Tigers today. 4 of the 7 runs batted in were batted in by Baez and what he had going on for himself. So that's who you got to look at for the player of the game. As for the turning point,
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Look, I know I could be optimistic here and say that the Phillies did make it a 2-run ball game after falling into a 7-3 hole, unfortunately, in the 8th inning. And Bryce Harper got that 2-run home run, which, yippee, good for him. Great to see the power stroke. But in a matchup like this, Wheeler going up against Skubal, the minute Wheeler gave up 2 solo home runs, it just felt like that was it. And I know last night should be the learning lesson. Last night should be the learning lesson in that you didn't do anything for the first 6 innings of the game, and then all of a sudden you exploded in that 7th inning. Well, the Phillies, again, had a 3-run 7th inning today to make it a 5-3 ball game, so they inched closer and closer, crept closer and closer in that one. But even in that moment when they got to Tarik Skubal, for instance, it didn't feel like there was going to be enough magic, unfortunately, left in their bats. They still got some more runs there with the Harper 2-run home run, but that was after the bullpen got gotten to, just like Zack Wheeler got gotten to. So that's a very frustrating thing today. So I'd like to say that the turning point was the top of the 8th inning when they got a 2-run triple there. Great route to that baseball, by the way, Weston Wilson. He's played enough in left field in this ballpark to understand what the angles are, and he looked lost as hell in that particular instance, unfortunately. Now, I'd like to say that was the turning point, but honestly, it was the 2 solo shots in the 3rd inning that made me go, yeah, they ain't coming back from this one. As far as what you'll be talking about,
this is what you'll be talking about.
I got a feeling you'll be kicking around the dominance of Tarik Skubal. I think you're going to be talking about the Phillies' approach at the plate today, which was atrocious. We were looking at a situation there where Skubal starts the 7th inning with 10 strikeouts at 71 pitches. I know that he's going to be hammering the strike zone. I get it. But there are certain points where I just scream at the television or just get up from my seat and start pounding my head against the wall in frustration. And it's moments like Trey Turner swinging at a first pitch after you see Skubal start to lose his arm slot a little bit, start to get timed a little bit. And there were certain situations throughout this ball game, like for instance, in the 6th inning, Weston Wilson actually works a good at bat, gets a double to right center field. Trey Turner comes up, swings at the first pitch, grounds out to short. That's an example of swinging at the first pitch kind of pissing me off. And I know we play first pitch police, and usually I'm the guy that's like, it's not that big a deal in this situation. In this situation, it was a big deal. Because you want to start to work a count a little bit. You want to make them labor. Because the way this game was going into that 7th inning, the most pitches that Tarik Skubal had thrown was 14 pitches in the 3rd inning to Sosa, Wilson, and Turner. That was in the 3rd inning, 14 pitches. And then finally, in the 7th inning, Harper leads off with the single. Real Muto gets the RBI double. Castellanos gets a 2-run home run on a first pitch changeup that he just jumped all up in that. Bader comes up. He unfortunately gets a 3-2 pitch, swings at ball 4. What the hell, man? Bader, who, by the way, does he always dress like a starburst? Because that's what he looked like. He looked like a full pack of starbursts. There were all the colors of the rainbow right there at the plate for the Phillies. By the way, great flow. Got a great head of lettuce, I must say. But flies out to shallow right field. Swinging at the ball 4 in a 3-2 count. Kemp goes up there. He flies out to right. Sosa grounds out to 3rd to end that threat. But that was a 25-pitch inning there against Skubal. And it's like, wow, you guys were working the count a little bit. I'd like to see a little bit more of that, with the exception of Nick Castellanos, obviously, who, again, this time swung at the first pitch. I guess he was thinking first pitch changeup, got the first pitch changeup, and belted one. So that was good to see. But all in all, I think we'll be talking about the complete dominance through the first 6 innings, at least, of that game by Tarik Skubal, for instance. All right, when we come back, I'm going to take your comments on this one. We'll also look through the Phillies box score. And also, we're going to talk about really the excitement of going down to the ballpark, knowing somebody is at least in the bullpen that you hope the Phillies are going to give an opportunity to come into the ball game. We'll talk about that more when we return. This is Locked On Phillies POSTCAST and the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Let me tell you about the Gametime app. You want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Gametime app has you covered. If you're thinking about going to that concert this summer or maybe that comedy show this summer, aside from the Gametime app has you covered for that. Also, NFL season, preseason, regular season, just around the corner. Gametime app's got you covered for that. Gametime makes getting tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop the closer it gets to showtime or first pitch or kickoff. How about that? You can save up to 60% off with killer last-minute deals. And if you're worried about what happens if the plans change, the Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Gametime app, as you can actually view your seat's vantage point before you buy the ticket. So yes, take the guesswork out of buying tickets for the concert, for the comedy show, or for the big game, and get tickets with the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use redemption code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, the lowest price, guaranteed. And how about Prize Picks? You guys can have a lot of fun on Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and college football isn't that far behind either. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football seasons. All before week one kicks off, that is. Whatever you got on your eye on when it comes to big-name quarterbacks or maybe breakout running backs for the new season, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in on the game with Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Locked On MLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Use promo code Locked On MLB to sign up and get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play with Prize Picks. Prize Picks, run your game. Now, as promised, let's take a look at this lineup card here for your Philadelphia Phillies. Schwarber and Turner today, 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts. No bueno. Harper, good, 3 for 4 today with a home run. Nice to see that. JT got you another couple of base knocks today with an RBI. Nick Castellanos drove in another 2 runs for himself. You love to see it with that 2-run home run. And then Bader, Kemp, Sosa, Stott with his 1 AB to end the ball game. And then Wilson got a hit. Marsh got a hit. Not a lot going there, unfortunately, for the Phillies lineup today. 8 hits, 13 strikeouts. Absolutely exhausting. Let's get into the chat check and see what you guys have to say about that. Oh, how dare I will say I was obviously hoping that the Phillies would get something going there in the bottom of the 9th inning. And then I was thinking, man, a lot of people down there at the ballpark really want to see Johan Duran come out there and just have that type of electric entrance again. Would it be as electric? Would it be as electric in a day game? That's just a question. But man, it's a party. And it was certainly a party last night. Unfortunately, the Phillies fans did not get to enjoy a win. Phillies fans certainly didn't get to enjoy the party. And by the way, to rain on it's already raining at the parade, unfortunately. The Mets are up right now on the Giants 12-6 in the top of the 9th inning. So there's that. Yeah, not great. Not ideal. All right, now let's get into the chat check and see what's going on. Morgan Landy, can we stop swinging at every first pitch? I'm talking to you, Turner. Yeah, definitely drives me crazy. Jess Patrick, 2, what's going on? Strom, hard contact or traffic or both? All of the above. Crazy. The 2 top aces. No. Skubal is the ace. Wheeler is just the next guy. Crazy? Certainly what it looked like tonight. You're definitely not crazy for that thought. Philly Nate, between Sosa and Strom, it's hard to pick the bum of the game. I'll say Strom. Yeah, not great. Johnster 11. You knew Skubal wasn't going to lose. Best pitcher in baseball, in my opinion, will win with Sanchez tomorrow, though. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I think Morton's getting a start tomorrow. So let's hope the Phillies can at least win this series. Get right back on the series winning thing. Skubal skiing Cy Young already a lock. I think that's exactly where it's headed. I don't think this is Wheeler's year, unfortunately. Remember earlier in the year when the Phillies batters had one of the best chase rates? Yeah, I do remember that. I think of it often, and then I cry, John. Thank you for bringing me back to that. Also, Otto Kemp, not an infielder. That was rough. That was rough. That was the third inning. What was that, the third inning? When was that? Yeah, it was the seventh inning. That's okay. Wheeler comes out for the seventh inning. He's at 95 pitches, which, I mean, is not unheard of for him to come back out for another inning at 95. Dingler hits the grounder to Kemp. Kemp, I thought, got a room service hop on that one, and it just clanked off the heel of his mitt. And then it went behind him, and then Cole Hamble so accurately pointed out, you can't get it if it's behind you. And he couldn't. And then that was a leadoff base runner, and then Baez hit the 2-run home run for a 2-0 lead, made it a 4-0 lead with his 2-run home run. So that's fun. Yeah, that was bad. 13 strikeouts, 0 walks, complete lack of plate discipline. Look, I'll say this. I mean, this is Skubal. This is not just like some bum. So you know he's going to be attacking the strike zone. I very much doubt they're looking to walk. But can I ask for like work an account? Can I ask for work an account? Like, again, for instance, 71 pitches in the 7th inning. That's unbelievable. This man, I mean, talk about a guy that was in cruise control. Bill Goes Swaggins, what's going on? Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, so close, but so far. Also, Matt Strom gives me extreme agita, plus the hair is dumb. I agree. I don't understand. And I know this is how this is going to sound from a bald man, but I agree. I don't know how you can play any sport professionally, especially an outdoor sport in the summer, with long hair and a long beard. That just baffles me. Like this, like I keep my beard tight, man. I could play outside if I was, an athlete, which I'm not. Spoiler. But yeah, it was bad. Don't forget to like this. Oh, don't forget to like. That's very nice. Thank you very much, Crazy. Appreciate you. Jack Dwight, most of Harper's damage comes in losses. And that's immense. I know you had the big game was the win they had against the Giants, that 13-0 game where he went bananas. But hey, I'm not going to argue against the guy getting the power stroke back. That's for sure. Danny, what's going on, Danny? Hello, nice to see you. Dallas still sucks. Dallas stinks. Big time. Big time. Crazy. I never had the makings of a varsity athlete either, Mark. You, me, and Tony Soprano. Tell Uncle Junior, shut up. All right, well, let's hope for a little redemption for the Phillies tomorrow. And hey, let's hope for another party tomorrow for your Philadelphia Phillies. By the way, ESPN, national game, Tigers, Phillies. Tigers 65-47 now in the season. Phillies 62-48 on the year. Charlie Morton, the former brief Philly, he comes up taking on the Phillies tomorrow. Christopher Sanchez will get the start for the Phils. Morton is 7-8 with a 5.42 ERA. I'll let you know in a second what he's coming off of. But, of course, Christopher Sanchez coming in here with a 9-3 record on the season. Morton has gotten his bell rung. 3 starts ago against Tampa, allowed 7 runs, all earned, gave up 2 home runs in that one. Then he faced the Guardians, gave up another 2 home runs, was charged for 3 runs on 5 hits. And then earlier in this week against the Blue Jays, he went 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits and did give up a home run. And he has been walking guys, man. 3 walks in his last start, 4 previous, 3 previous, 3 previous to that. Phillies, maybe this will be a game where these guys walk a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe this will be a game where you walk a little bit. Sanchez coming in this one again, 9-3 with a 2.55 ERA. His last start, not great. 4 runs, all of them earned, 7 hits, 2 home runs in that 6-2 loss to the Chicago White Sox in that series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great as per usual. This is Locked On Phillies postcast on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Hey, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for your Locked On Phillies postcasts with yours truly. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for Connor Thomas Locked On Phillies Daily podcast. So make sure you guys are checking that all out right here on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow night. Can't wait. And again, a programming note. I know I'm going to be doing I think at least one of the games next weekend, but I will be taking a lot of that weekend off. Maybe all 3. I'll keep you posted just to let you know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.